This is the Mobile Tech Podcast, brought to you by worldpodcasts.com. Now here's your host, Tank Girl, Miriam Joie.
Brought to you by Mint Mobile. Stay tuned for a special offer at the end of the show. Hi, and welcome to the Mobile Tech Podcast. I'm your host, Miriam Joie, and today is Wednesday, April 23rd, 2025, and I'm in New York City in Manhattan with my good friend, Michael Fisher, Mr. Mobile. Hi, Michael.
Tank Girl, thank you for having me, Miriam. Thank you also for announcing the day at the start of every episode of your show. You center me in time and space.
Yes, I try.
Right before you said that, I was like,
sometimes it's all a lie.
Is that window open? Can I?
Sometimes I record and I actually use the date of the future.
Yeah. Oh, that's mean. You shouldn't lie to people.
Well,
like
no,
that.
Because sometimes
it's embargoed.
It's exactly.
Yeah.
You understand?
I do.
So, folks, obviously, Moto, Razr,
yes,
folding phones, the folding man.
This is why I'm here. I'm so excited. Yes.
So, this was a weird day for us, right?
It was. You want to start with the bummers?
I don't know what I want to start with. I'm going to say pretty happy with the product.
Me too. So it was a surprising start to the day. But let's call it that, because it wasn't a bummer. It was just that you and I are now 2 years into Motorola events in New York City, and they've typically done that in Brooklyn, right?
And we're old.
And we are old.
And cranky.
You have no idea
and so
how much complaining
cranky.
I was doing before the start of the show about nothing, because I'm tired. I kept trying to tell you, I'm addicted. I have this addiction that is preventing me from sleeping. And Miriam's like, "What, are you drinking too much?" I'm like, "I wasn't talking about that, but okay, yeah, sure." No, I'm addicted to an app, but it doesn't matter. We're old, we're cranky.
I'm such a jerk. What kind of friend says that? What, you're an alcoholic?
It's okay. It worked out. Oh, I was recording. Yeah, good.
I was friendly there, right? I did okay.
They're fine.
Right.
So the point is, we were expecting a typical small Motorola event, right?
Yeah.
A briefing with maybe 15 people.
Yeah, 20 people, usual suspects.
And boy, when I walked into the room today in Midtown Manhattan, which should have given me a clue, it was not in Brooklyn anymore, and I heard the roar of people in the waiting room having breakfast at 9 a.m., I was like, oh, there are a lot of people here.
No, for me it was when I showed up and there was a party bus in front of the thing, really? Unloading LATAM.
Oh, Latin America.
Yeah, all of the media. And they were
Yes.
not just media, they were mostly influencers.
There were a lot.
So they were selfieing and doing.
All
and
of them dressed well beyond anything
beyond
I'm capable
us.
of.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh boy, this is going to be a day.
Be a trip. Now, I will say this. Motorola did a good job of keeping us separate because we got
them separated.
You got to keep them separated, but not because they're not fun to hang out with, but because this number of people would be totally unmanageable if we weren't separated into different groups. So I guess It's boring to talk about the real specifics of that. But point is, it was a big event. We came in for a keynote in a huge space.
It was huge,
and then the keynote was far too long. But we probably shouldn't talk about that, right? You want to? You're the host.
Let's give feedback to Moto
Sure.
if they pay attention.
Sure.
By the way, I want to give them some props because this bar phone, I know you don't talk about those. I know they don't exist for you.
I can't even
but
see
this
it.
is a stylus. This is the G stylus that came out last week. And honestly, it's good.
You like it?
It's the best stylus we've had yet. It's only $400 too.
Moto G.
And it's solid. It's a Moto G. Anyway, I'm using it to read my notes. Kudos to Moto.
I'm using a Pixel Fold because my Razr is over there and I can't get it.
You can't be bothered.
No, I can't be arsed, as our friend Nirav would say. So,
well, when you get it later, and when we're done, I have a little present for you. You can see it over there. It came from California, and it's a fruit.
A fruit? Oh,
yes.
No, very good. Sounds good.
A very fresh fruit from California.
I love it.
So the keynote was all about AI. And, that is already kind of rubbing us the wrong way because, we tell people to get off our lawn on a regular basis.
So many things.
And look, I'm not against AI. I actually think that it is very helpful. And I think that I use it for creating headlines that are SEO friendly, for summaries and stuff for my writing. But my problem with it is that it still doesn't work reliably.
Correct.
And so I do like the idea of you talk to your phone like Gemini Live and it does stuff, but then since you can't trust it, I can't feel like I can rely on it. And they're making this a centerpiece, not just Gemini. That's the other thing. This keynote had an avalanche of partners.
It was like Motorola got a hold of the feedback we had given to Qualcomm last year that said, you have way too many partners on stage and it's the worst, and somehow misinterpret it to mean that that's the model they should follow. because
Yes.
there were way too many partners on stage, and I think one of the many problems with tech keynotes of any kind, we're not just picking on Motorola, is that no one seems to know what a good show is. Just a good show in general, because the audience is not paying to be there. It's not that kind of thing. And I said this in Hawaii last fall. I was like, what if these companies actually treated a presentation like the audience did pay for their seats? It would resonate a lot better with the crowd, and also it would serve the message of the companies better because we're all listening more rather than hearing the same regurgitated thing from the same handful of CEOs that are very accomplished and very important, but don't have any stage presence.
Yeah.
And it's a bummer. And are reading off a teleprompter that is full of nothing but cliches and legal approved pablum that sucks.
Ooh, pablum. That's a good word for that.
Yeah.
Look, I don't want to be too harsh on Moto because I think I went into it like, I think we can rewind to the party bus and you walking in here in the roar of the crowd, right?
Yeah.
It's like we were expecting something like they've done the past 2 years where it was a smaller, intimate gathering with the PR professionals we know, some of the executives we know. We could immediately ask questions. We could get our specs on the spot. We didn't have too long to wait to see the devices. And when we did, it was in a setting that wasn't crowded and had good light and stuff like that.
True. So, but here's the thing. Now, and I'll agree with you. We shouldn't go too hard on Motorola because the fact that this was a larger scale event is an indicator of their success.
Successful, 100%.
And that I can't help but be happy for them.
Yes.
I can't help but be excited on their behalf because this was a major launch event with more products than I expected.
Yes.
Not just the phones, but Motorola brought its earbud manufacturing, it seems like, back in-house for one round for these weird, I don't even know what they're called, these Motobuds that are open ear and they have a Swarovski.
Wait.
Those are the jewels?
I have a name, Swarovski, yes.
Like the diamond encrusted.
I have a name for these
Bluetooth
buds.
headphones.
They're called Motobuds Loop.
Motobuds Loop.
They're open earbuds, the kind that you put around your ear like this, so they're not blocking your sound. There's no noise canceling, of course.
Which is very cool.
I have a photo here that I will share with the Patreons who are watching right now. Check it out, the Swarovski crystal madness that is up here.
And here's the thing, so often when companies try to gussy up hardware, it's like obvious and dumb or whatever. This somehow works. These look like earrings. They're gorgeous. Like, I don't think
the Swarovski is a good partnership for that.
Agreed. And that was consistent throughout the entire day. Every partnership they announced outside the AI stuff was like, oh, that makes sense. Yeah, the Pantone stuff going deeper.
I think the Pantone stuff is awesome.
It's so cool. And Motorola is one of the only companies out there doing their hardware in a way that like stands out. Yeah. Stands out in a way that makes sense. Yeah. And isn't tacky. Like, I feel like Pantone has elevated Motorola in a way that it never did with Huawei back when they had that 100%, old partnership, 100%. Right?
And I think,
that's cool.
Like Bose for these earbuds, and then, they had other, I think, good partners that I think are worth mentioning. Like, besides the AI partners, right? They trotted up a bunch of others. I can't remember who they are now. I can probably look at
there
my
was
notes.
Perplexity up there. There was Gemini, of course, the Google Gemini folks.
There was Meta with Llama.
And in the crowd, at least, there was several, I believe more than one Microsoft Copilot person, though. I don't.
Oh, that's right. There was some Microsoft people as well.
Yeah.
So
so cool. I mean, this is the flip side to our complaining about the partnerships being like, because it wasn't a compelling keynote, but that the reason the keynote existed in that way is good news for Motorola, and it makes sense strategically.
And I think before we move into the actual products, because we're in for the hardware really. A thing that I really enjoyed was that they are. I think I like what they're trying to do with AI. Like, I like the idea that one of the features is, intent mode, you can just have a conversation with your phone. Like, it uses AI to recognize your face, prompts you, you can talk, right?
That was the coolest AI feature
thing, right?
I've seen.
And then they have an AI button now on the top model, which we're going to discuss in a second.
On the top model of the Razr, right?
The Razr.
Well, but let's talk about that for a second, because look, everyone is putting buttons on their phones and routing the buttons to AI.
Did it,
nothing
right?
just did it. The Bixby button did it forever ago. So that's not new. But Motorola, the big win for them this time was that posture mode, which is what it's called, like I'm listening or look at me or I don't know what it's called.
I have a note for that as well.
And the deal is like you set up the phone either intent mode, which I never use, or if you're at your desk and you put it on a wireless charger and open it up into desktop mode, so you're looking at the cover screen, you can just look over at the phone.
Look and talk.
Look and talk?
That's what it's called.
But you don't have to worry about a keyword. You don't have to say OKG or Hey
Yeah,
Moto or
whatever,
whatever.
yeah.
You just look at the thing, and then the phone sees that you look at it, unlocks, and says, and
the
then you can
front
talk to
display
it.
too gives you like that's the thing.
Like a
Like
transcribed
when you
feedback.
talk to your Amazon Echo, or whatever you have, you don't get any visual feedback unless you got one with the screen, right?
Right.
And I think the screen adds a whole new dimension, right?
Yes.
Like in a way, it's like having a Rabbit R1. But it's your actual main device.
Yeah, and you don't have to push a button. You don't have to touch it.
No.
You just look at it. Now, there are privacy elements to that, so they've put a lot of nested prompts in it, so like the screen isn't, you always know when the camera is activated and when the mic's activated, but I think that's cool, and importantly, it's a thing only a flip phone can do. That is what made it an interesting combination. That They didn't just tack AI onto a Razr and call it a day. So credit where it's due there. The rest of the AI stuff, I could just, no.
No, and the biggest problem I have is again, we're not sure what the data you're getting out of these. Like when you're asking it for advice, right? You got like how you show a selfie of yourself with your outfit, and you say what shoes would go with that. That's one thing. If it screws that up, okay, maybe you don't look fashionable that day.
Right.
But if it's messing up like an answer for a research you're doing right now, that's a problem, right? And so, they have all these partners. But the other thing is like, what do these partners respectively bring to the table? Like, it's like a big, like the rubber band ball. That's what reminds me. All this AI like tangled together makes no sense.
Well, and what's interesting though is that like it's in a way it created the most open source like AI hardware device. You mentioned the Rabbit a second ago.
Yeah.
Right? I feel like the Razr is now the phone version of like what the Rabbit could have been, because you're like, what's on there? Gemini. And you get 3 months of Gemini Advanced or whatever. There's Perplexity, and you get 3 months of Perplexity Pro. And then there's whatever, the Moto AI is powered by Llama. That's who was on. Facebook was on stage too, of course. And you've got the Moto AI. So you've got all these, whatever AI engine you want to use, 3 of them are already baked in. And then, of course, you can download whatever you want after the fact. So it's weird. I don't know who these people are, but if there are people out there who are like, what's the best AI phone? Motorola could make a commercial claiming that they are. And the various form factors and built-in functions of this device would make them truthful about that.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not against the idea that we have a dedicated button. I'm not against the idea that of what they're trying to do. I'm just not sure that it's something I can rely on. And until somebody can convince me otherwise, I'm going to be very hesitant to use those features. Yep. And then the other thing too is like, when you start mixing AI models like that, which of your data stays local, which of your data goes to the cloud, right? And then, the privacy implications, but more importantly, most kids these days, they don't care. I get that. Right. But I think that more importantly though, like, what travels with you as you change phones, right? So, if you have a Razr today and you get a Razr next year, right now it's not clear to me how that data it's gathered about you, like that contextual data, travels over to your new phone. And how does it do so securely, right?
It's probably through the Motorola account they make you log into.
The next question is, what if you go to a Samsung phone after that?
Right.
Do you lose your contact?
Oh man, in 10 years there's going to be wireless local AI portability.
Yes. Yeah. And we need that.
Yeah.
It's like, it's going to be an open standard. Like Europe is going to put their foot down and it's going to be USB-C all over again.
All your learning models.
But here's
You're
the
going to have a
thing,
digital twin that's like trapped on one phone.
I asked Nothing the same question about their AI stuff, right? Which is the same thing. They have a button and it creates it learns about you and keeps it on the phone. Like, how does that transfer over? Right. Nobody was able to give me any answers.
Huh, interesting.
It's like, I think they probably know, but like, it's like, I don't think hopefully they've thought about it.
I think with most companies, nothing specifically, but most companies is like, that's on a roadmap, on a pipeline, on a dry erase board.
Yeah, and I get that.
Build this in 6 months.
but at the same time, also, I don't want to knock Nothing. I really love their product. I think it's fantastic. I really love it. So we talked about the earbuds. And then there's a watch, which is like a dumb watch, basically, one of those 16-day battery life, 1.9-inch OLED display. Looks like an Apple Watch. It's a little disappointing, right? Because
no interest, yeah.
Where's the flat tire?
Right. Yeah, that was confusing to me, and I wish I got more clarity on that, just because like Motorola's strategy as pertaining to accessories has changed over time. I mentioned like They've outsourced their buds for ages. They've outsourced their watches for ages. They licensed the Motorola name and let third parties build it and then brand it as Moto.
Do you remember the Bullet Moto phones?
Oh, yeah, the Bullet ones, right? Yeah, but only in Europe, right?
Yeah.
And so, again, they seem to really want to take ownership of the earbuds and the watch, but the watch is, I don't know what they're doing with the watch. I mean, like, it's what, why are
Latin America.
Is that what it is?
Yeah,
Okay.
think about it.
All right.
Price sensitive.
Yeah.
You want an accessory that works well with your product.
And, there aren't a lot of Square smartwatches out there that
There are none.
that are not Apple watches.
There are none.
There's the Oppo.
No, I'm joking. There's tons.
Oh, well, okay. Well, anyway, I don't care about that.
I didn't mind.
You want to talk about the Razr?
The thing that struck me the most is that we have 3 this year, at least in North America.
I didn't expect that.
The rest of the world gets 2.
Yes.
So
Razr
Razr.
at the base.
Yeah.
Razr Plus
Yeah.
in the mid-range, used to be
Yeah.
the top, and Razr Ultra.
The Ultra is the one I spent all my time on, basically.
Same, because let's be real, the base and Plus haven't changed much.
Well, we'll get to that.
Okay.
But the important thing is for the rest of the world, since this is a global podcast,
Yep.
the middle one, the Plus, does not exist in other parts of the world.
Roger. So the rest of the world is getting Razr Base and Razr Ultra, and it's branded probably as Razr 60 and Razr 60 Ultra.
Correct.
Yeah.
And what's interesting to me is that the Plus has barely changed. The Plus
Yes.
only has a titanium reinforced hinge,
Right.
I believe.
4 times stronger.
Yeah, and that's it. The battery is the same. The processor is the same. It's 8S Gen 3, which I believe it was last year,
8S
right?
Gen 3 mobile platform.
That hasn't
yeah.
changed.
12 gigs
Displays
of
are
RAM.
the same.
Yep,
Cameras are the
6.9
same.
inch.
So you still have the stupid 2x telephoto.
We're going to get there. Don't worry, there's
Don't
good
worry,
news on the
don't
back
worry.
of
There's
that.
good news at the end. It's interesting to me how little the Plus has changed. Really.
Me too. I had to ask specifically somebody, is it the same exact phone that you're just selling again? And it was like, no, there's a couple
Titanium
little
is the
changes.
only
The
thing.
titanium reinforced
What's
hinge.
the other thing?
I don't know.
Oh, the coffee grounds in the mocha colored model.
Sure, the colorways have been
Colorways are
redone a little bit.
But they still have the magenta pink, whatever, the hot pink. Hot
yeah,
pink.
I don't know.
Hot pink still exists.
Hot pink, midnight blue, and mocha mousse.
That's the one that has coffee grounds in it.
Yes.
And these are vegan leathers with coffee in them? Like
Yeah.
What?
Yeah,
Weird.
pretty cool.
Pretty cool. Right.
So that's
now
the Razr Plus.
the baby one, the minus.
the base model.
Like we like to call the minus.
Yes. The junior.
You came up with that.
The
Credit
minus?
where credit is due.
I'm sure I
The
stole that.
Razr
I'm sure I
minus.
stole that from somebody a decade ago.
Okay.
So yes, also very similar. Still that same kind of smaller cover
Same
screen on the
displays,
outside.
front and rear.
Yep. With the little forehead on it when you close it. What else has changed? Because I want to talk about the colors.
Okay. The colors are incredible.
The colors are so cool.
What's changed? Dimensity 7400X
You got it.
versus Dimensity 73.
7300. Yeah.
A bigger battery at 4500 versus 4200. Titanium in the hinge for 4 times strength.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, I believe, it.
Miriam.
Cameras are the same.
Miriam is doing this for audio listeners, doing this without consulting her notes.
Oh, and also there is a new material, this one.
There's an IP rating adjustment as well.
Every phone has an IP48 rating now.
IP48, so that's a shift. We started
So
with
it's water
IP52 a
resistant,
couple
that's
years
the
ago.
8, and the dust is barely dust resistant.
Well, if 4 is a different rating. It's weird that it's a
What
downgrade
is this
from
material?
5.
Remember? They told us?
No.
It is some kind of recycled material because every phone has a green material. So the coffee grounds for the mid-range. We're going to talk about the Ultra in a minute. And this is some kind of like recycled plastic or...
Not on the spec sheet.
Yes.
So the colors, though, are just tremendous. We've got
That green
that
here.
green. This,
Hang on.
I've never seen a green like this on a phone. It is called Spring Bud.
I'll bring it up.
And when you see it from across the room, it's kind of like, what is it? I mean, like, it's like you can't do that on television green slime that they used to dump on kids' heads. But, because it has that, like, lighter element to it. It's like there's a lot of white mixed into the
There
green.
it is.
It's gorgeous. It's so eye-catching and beautiful. And, like, neither, in my opinion, I think neither feminine nor masculine. Like, I feel like everyone could buy this thing.
Exactly.
And just love it.
Here we go.
And then you've got the, kind of more general parfait pink, which is a kind of a carnation pink, and the lightest sky, which is white. Then there's Gibraltar Sea, which I guarantee you doesn't read well on video, but in person, it's that rich, almost royal blue
it's
with
good.
some texturing on it. And I think I always nerd out about design, but Motorola nerded out about design today in a way that I think is very beneficial because they came out and said what I always say. Everyone else is building boring phones or they're painting their phones in dull colors.
Oh, God.
And Motorola, like, this is one of those partnerships where the Pantone thing that we mentioned really, really, really makes sense.
Yeah.
Because they can work together to be, Pantone can be like, yeah, here's all the fashion studies we've done that indicate that this is going to be a really big color this year. And then they work together to select one that just pops. And there's one great color in every one of the Razr lineups, I think. Oh, it's so pretty.
By the way, I shot all this with my Oppo Find X8 Ultra.
Hey,
Amazing for product photography with that bokeh at 2x.
So if I'm going to complain at all about the colors, it's that the most fun ones are at the base again. But that's okay. It's and you can argue with me on that because there are some fun ones further up too. So
overall, basically, more updates on the base model than the mid-range, but not many. Like, it's still pretty much the same phone as last year, minor upgrades. But the Ultra. The Ultra is amazing. I'm very impressed.
Motorola Razr Ultra. There is the added button.
Yes. That's the first visible notice. That's how you can tell it apart from a Plus, is the AI button on the left side, opposite from the power lock key and volume rocker. But here's what I'm going to say. It's a proper flagship. 8 Elite.
It's
the first time that we've gotten a Razr from Moto since they've done the folding phone, since back in LA, remember? When we were there?
2019.
Since back then, it's the first time we've gotten a proper, full-on flagship specs all the way across.
That's right.
It's amazing.
It is. And I will say overdue, but we're here. We finally made it.
You know why that finally happened, in my opinion?
Why?
AI.
Oh, perhaps. And also,
did you notice how much RAM that thing has?
It has 16 gigs
across
of
the board.
LPDDR5X RAM.
That and an 8 Elite. Yeah. That tells me that we're looking at a crap ton of models in memory, like LLMs.
I didn't realize that there is a 1 terabyte option as well.
There's a 1 freaking terabyte, and the base model is 512.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
So that's going to be like $1,800.
I was just going to say, there is a consequence to this. Now, readers, listeners, viewers.
Are we allowed to talk about pricing today?
I don't know. Look, I didn't get told anything different about it. It's
okay, good.
Same embargo as everything else. I know the prices, and you still don't, right? So we'll have a reveal on that.
I'm going to guess, and you're going to tell me if I'm right.
Sounds good.
What's the battery size? It's much bigger.
4,700 milliamp hours. So that's up from 4,000.
Silicon carbon, I bet you. There's no way they can fit that.
No, they would have made a point of it, right?
Yeah, maybe.
Although maybe not. They had a lot to talk about. Also, the charging speed.
Oh, we need to talk about that actually.
Yes.
Briefly. I think the charging speeds overall have improved across the board.
Across the whole lineup?
Yeah. 68 watt for the Ultra, which is wow.
68 watts
45
wired.
Watt for the Plus, and 30 watt for the Minus. Now, these two might have not changed. I need to look them up. But wireless is 15 watt for the two previous models, essentially. And then, holy crap.
30 watt wireless charging on the Ultra. Great stuff.
Let's see if it burns.
Yeah. 5 watt reverse charging, which I think is unchanged.
Also,
right?
they didn't have reverse charging for a lot of the Motos in the past.
They did.
The Razr, yeah?
I was using it, yeah.
Last year? Okay.
Yeah.
Because the first gen, they didn't.
Yeah, I used it to recharge my iPhone 16.
The first Razr Plus.
Okay, yeah. So great improvements in capacity on charging.
The specs are on point.
You're right.
The inner display, get this, guys. The inner display is a 7-inch now. There's less bezel because the chassis is the same size.
Yes, it is.
And
up
it's
from
1224p, so it's actually between 1080p and Quad HD.
Huh. I didn't even notice the resolution.
And what's this refresh 144, I think, or 165? I have it written down. Hang on, I got it.
They're not calling it out. 22 by 9 Super HD.
I have it.
1224p, 10-bit, 120% DCI, adaptive rate up to 165 hertz.
165.
And then the touch rate is 130 or 300.
All right, and it does a PWM
peak
thing
brightness.
too.
Peak brightness.
4,500
nits. Can you believe this?
This is great.
This is fun because I wasn't able to. I was taking too many notes while they were. And I remember thinking like, these are a lot of specs. It kind of seems like a pretty dope phone.
No, but here's the thing, right? Like, let's put it in context, right?
Yeah.
So far, the only company that has delivered flagship grade specs on a flip folding phone has been Samsung.
Yes.
And then even then, the cameras suffer.
Yep, and the cameras have always suffered on Motorola too.
Yeah, but spec-wise, the cameras aren't suffering on this Ultra this time.
Spec-wise, they're not.
But Moto...
At least in video. I found Motorola to be quite good on stills for me, but it's your podcast. You get to share the news.
What?
The big camera news.
Oh, there's no camera news.
What are you talking about? What?
I'm just...
I'm like, wait a minute.
Okay, we get 3 50-megapixel cameras, 2 in the back and 1 for the selfies. And the big news is that we get the ultra-wide back.
Yes.
But so not only that. So first of all, it's a 50-megapixel ultra-wide and a 50-megapixel main.
Correct.
And a 50-megapixel selfie in the front on the main screen. But that 50-megapixel main is a bigger sensor with way better low-light performance. And it does 2x in-sensor crop, proper... you quote-unquote lossless, almost optical quality 2x, which is basically what I said they should have done last year with the Plus.
Yeah.
And they somehow still kept that 2x telephoto in the Plus. I thought for sure if they're going to update one thing on the Plus, it was going to go back to an ultra-wide, but they were like, call it a day. It's only for the US. We're just going to update the hinge.
Yeah.
We've
already got the orders in for all the components, whatever. Just leave it alone.
Small volume too, right? Think about it. Now
Yeah.
they're selling 3 Razr in North America. Like, do you really think the middle one's going to sell very much?
I just
pricing's going to matter.
You brought up Samsung a second ago. I'm just so glad that they're doubling down on this, right? Because here's the situation that I think a lot of people don't know, or maybe it was just me. Everyone's always like the Flip. Like when we talked about like disclosure, Clicks makes a product for the Motorola Razr, and so I have a little bit of insights into some other stuff, which I can't talk about. But in the run-up to deciding whether to build Clicks for the Razr or the Galaxy Flip, there was a lot of discussion internally.
I'm sure I know who you wanted to.
So many people in the audience when we announced were like, "Why didn't you build this for the Flip? It's the more successful Flip," and that's true globally. In terms of number of units, it's like a order of magnitude. Like it's a lot more. Samsung is really whooping butt on a global scale, but in the States, the Razr outsells the Flip.
Huh.
And they actually said that.
I did not know that.
Yeah. Well, they said on stage today, and they probably didn't say that verbatim, but they said like, we're the best Flip phone in the States. We have the most volumes in the States. And like, I confirmed that with a couple people in the demo floor today, and they were like, "Oh yeah." I'm like, it's not even. Like they didn't say it's not even close, but that was the tone. But this is Motorola doubling down on that and saying like, okay, well, we found a lot of success in the last 2 generations of Razr, so now we're gonna just triple down on it. Really, we're gonna have 3 models available in the States, right?
Yeah.
And they've got carrier partnerships. What's the deal with those? Are they selling as unlocked or not? We didn't ask.
I would assume they're going to be sold by Moto Unlocked, but
Yeah.
I am definitely sure they're going to be carrier deals.
They should.
There's got to be.
Yeah.
Is it not in there?
No. I'll look in that.
Sorry, we'll look at specs. So here's the thing about the Ultra, right? This camera system, look, Moto can do a good camera. Some of the Edge phones in the past have had decent enough cameras, competitive at the time. So I'm hoping that we'll see that this time. I'm hoping that we're going to see some good camera.
I have no faith that the video is going to be good.
Video is another story.
Yeah, it sure is.
But here's the thing. The external display has stayed the same. It's still 4 inches. It's still, I think, 3,000 nits. And I want to say 165. Yeah, 165 hertz.
No carrier. Oh, wait, hold up. Sorry.
What?
We will talk pricing and availability, or pricing at the end, but the device will be available at AT&T and T-Mobile.
Not Verizon?
In addition to Best Buy, Amazon.com, Motorola.com.
And this is for the Ultra.
That's the Ultra. Same deal for the Plus.
Ooh.
And then down at the base model of just the MVNO soup. Like every MVNO in the United States is going to carry this thing.
Okay, you got to read them off. Come on.
Sure. T-Mobile, Metro by T-Mobile, Cricket Wireless, Verizon, Visible, Total Wireless, Straight Talk, Xfinity Mobile, Consumer Cellular, Google Fi Wireless, US Cellular, Cox Mobile, Optimum Mobile, and Spectrum. Jeez.
Wow.
Jeez. And did you hear Verizon is in there?
Yeah, but only
on the base.
Huh.
Because Verizon, I imagine they just sell.
I tell you also,
iPhones
no, there's
to the
another
top
thing about Verizon, and I've noticed this quite a bit now. Any phone that doesn't have millimeter wave doesn't cut it for Verizon as postpaid. They'll sell it as a prepaid phone,
Right.
Unvisible or whatever.
That makes sense. We had not mentioned a little thing that's not in the spec sheets. We were having a last-minute conversation on our way out the door when they were basically pushing us out because we had overstayed our welcome. Actually, they were.
I mean, we were so bitchy about the
they
the
were
whole
being
keynote.
they were being so gracious actually, and I kept apologizing. I'm like, we have to go. We were here an hour later after you told us to leave. Anyway, we asked their product lead. I asked if the screen protector had changed because that's the thing on the Razr. Like, it splits the damn thing. It gets a hairline crack in the stupid screen protector, not the glass, but the top layer, and it's annoying to replace. Apparently, they have not changed that material. They've extended the material of the screen protector to the bezels, so there's no longer a gap between it and the, whatever. But the ultra-thin glass layer beneath it is thicker.
Huh.
And the radius of the curve is wider, and all this means that now the, the crease is actually diminished. I know this is what we say every year with the foldables, like it's a broken record, but I did take one of the demo units, put it aside alongside my 2024 Razr.
Yeah.
And this was one of the demo units that had been opened and closed a lot, so it wasn't like a fresh out of box thing. I was like, oh, I can actually see that. It's very good.
It's very good. I took a photo as well. I think they nailed it. I think that I don't even know what Samsung's going to do next, but I'm already on Team Moto. This is Samsung's going to copy Moto finally. We've seen the leaks that they're going to do a full screen in the front with the cameras jutting through the screen, just like Moto did.
They don't have a choice.
But they are, but then what? It's still not going to give us full apps on the front.
No, here's the thing. I think what Samsung has is more steadfast reliability. And by that I mean Motorola's software is so good and so powerful, but it is also, it's not that it chugs, it's not that it's slow, it's not that it's underpowered, it's that it feels less optimized than the Samsung One UI stuff.
And I think the other thing we have to give credit to Samsung is that I think, and maybe you have another counterpoint because you've used the Motos more than I have, I think, overall. But I feel like Samsung has more experience with durability on their folding phones.
Oh, you're absolutely right. And it's part of the design of the Flip that does that because they've got that aluminum band. And when it lands, I think I mentioned, I dropped the Galaxy Flips, what are we up to, 7? 6?
6.
I dropped the Flip 6 off of a moving bike at like 12 miles an hour, 15
I thought you
miles
did
an
that
hour.
with an Ultra when you went on a bike ride that one time.
Oh, I dropped one of those too.
You just like to drop the Samsung phones.
I just drop phones.
Drop them like it's hot.
But Samsung phones, I have never broken a Flip thanks to my own carelessness. They are really robust. Whereas the Razr, I drop them just as often as I drop any other phone.
2.5D.
Exactly. That curvature makes them less durable. And so
But
I've shattered them.
Good.
And then I dropped one once and it broke the volume key so it wouldn't boot because it was holding down the volume key. The Razr has been a very delicate device. I will continue to caution people that you cannot abuse it.
So here's what's interesting. Theo had a Flip 3, so a while ago now, and then now has a Razr Plus 23. And they're not a careless person at all, but they're not as careful as, say, I would be because I'm always worried about dropping a phone for taking photos.
Sure.
And they've had a more reliable mechanical experience with the Razr Plus 23 than the Flip 3. Now, the Flip 3 is also a few generations back.
Yeah.
But it's not so much about dropping or whatever. It's been more about, because they had both of them in the case, so they're less likely to have the edge, break and shatter the front.
Problems, right.
But they've dropped it. They've showed me the cases a little scuffed up and stuff. But it's the delaminating of the screen protector at the hinge level on the Samsungs every time.
Every time.
We've replaced that screen protector for the 2 years I had it 3 times.
They had a real problem. Now, they've reformulated that screen protector several times, and that's where I give credit to Samsung. They try every year to do it differently.
Fix it, yeah.
Whereas Motorola, I was really bummed. That was my biggest disappointment.
Do you see delamination with Moto if you use it a lot?
It doesn't delaminate in the way that Samsung does, but it cracks. There's a hairline, annoying little crack, and you can barely see it, but you can feel it. Oh. And you're like, oh, you did the thing, you bastard. And,
because you use a lot your Razr, right?
It is mine. I actually bought it because I broke the review unit. Yeah. So I didn't feel right asking them, hey, can you replace this? So I just bought it.
Yeah.
And I love it. I love that phone. It's my phone.
All right.
Anyway.
Ultra. Yeah. I mean, what else is there to say?
What else is there to say?
The battery's bigger, faster charging. We've got the special key.
Colors.
And
materials.
You get the colors.
Okay.
I just want to say...
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Because just, think of our good friend Rich from XDA, because that's one of the materials.
Nice. I was like, where are you going? where are you going to go with it? Yeah. Got our good friend Rich. What's his last name? Woods.
I didn't want to steal that from you.
Thanks. I appreciate it.
Sorry, Rich. Folks, you've listened to the podcast. You've had Rich on the show. You know, we talk about laptops and stuff. Rich is an awesome person, and he was very proud of the wood today. Because he's like, it's named after me.
Finally.
And I was like, of course it is.
So we've got Pantone Rio Red. We've got Pantone Scarab, which is this like different red, I think. Pantone Mountain Trail, which is green-black. And wait, what the hell?
Mountain Trail is the
wood?
Alcantara, isn't it?
I don't know. What's the wood? What do they call the wood? Anyway, I don't care what the real name is. It is actually wood.
I'm pretty sure it's Mountain Trail.
Okay. So it's
or
not,
Scarab.
for the first time on a Motorola phone since 2015, Motorola X Pure Edition.
Oh.
The Moto X Pure Edition. We have real wood on the back of a phone. And I've initially looked at it and I was like, oh, it's just it's Formica. It's plastic. It's not. It's real wood. Sourced from specific regions that are sustainable. Like I think for every tree they cut down, they plant one, or like it's certified. There's an acronym that I haven't really got. It's like CSF, I think, certified sustainable something. Anyway, it's real wood. It's got a real grain pattern on it. You run your finger across it and you feel it. Look, it's not the mahogany, it's not the bamboo that I kind of would have liked, but it's wood.
Come on,
and it's great. It's
like, amazing.
It's like a sand kind of wood color. I would say
it's like light pine kind of finish. It's almost like bamboo, actually.
And while they did not bring back Horween leather, which I would really prefer they do one of these days, they did, I think on the Alcantara version, they have a stitched back plate with Alcantara.
So I have to say the Alcantara worries me a little bit.
Me too.
Because, here's the thing. Alcantara is a magnificent material.
Yeah.
If visually, like if you, and it feels nice to touch, that's not my point, is it doesn't age well when touched. So if you look at it, like if you put Alcantara in, it's very popular in cars, especially sports cars and luxury sports cars. You do a headliner of Alcantara, no problem. You're not going to touch that, touch it, right? Or rarely.
Yeah.
And it looks good. And if you do touch it briefly, it feels really nice. Mm-hmm. And generally, you can have it in darker colors, which is always better to have a darker headliner, in my opinion. But you put it on a steering wheel or a gear shifter, and after even just a year, like it just looks terrible. And our phones are the worst candidate for that. Like we touch them, like anything greasy, anything like any food, like it doesn't clean off of Alcantara.
Transfers from your hands. We learned this with the very first Microsoft Surface.
Exactly.
And its touch keyboard cover.
Touchpad. It looked like hell after weeks.
I'm sorry, I got to correct myself. It was the Surface laptop, Jim.
The laptop, yes.
Not the Surface. So everyone was like, wow, that looks great. And then all the smart people in the audience said exactly what you said.
No, that's not going to age well. Bad idea.
So hopefully whatever treatment Motorola has applied will prevent that somewhat. I don't have a lot of faith in that. I think that's not the one I would buy. I'll say that. Because remember what was last year's pink? It was just hot pink or something?
Hot pink.
And then the one before that was Viva Magenta.
Viva Magenta.
And Viva Magenta, as I recall, had a similar kind of faux... No. Last year's had it was a suede.
It was
an imitation suede. And that got gross almost right away. And so I think the Alcantara is going to be the same deal.
Fine woven Apple cases.
Right. Yeah, same thing. And it's such a bummer because they do look good. And then you pick them up on their first out-of-box thing and you're like, oh, yes. It feels amazing, but then a week later, like, oh no, I shouldn't have eaten those buffalo wings before I touched my phone. It's like stained forever.
I went to the Mexican restaurant.
Yes.
Phone is doomed.
No. Anyway.
So I don't
know.
I'm excited though, because we're getting colors, we're getting materials, we're getting finishes. CMF,
that's right. Can I want to say a little bit, this is going to be very unpopular, but I will just say it's my opinion. You know how Motorola does the branding, the co-branding with Pantone in Europe, where they put the Pantone square on the phone. Mm-hmm. I want that here.
Why don't they do that here?
I think it looks so cool.
I think it might be some sort of like...
I mean, I'm sure it costs more here, the licensing.
It's an IP or copyright or whatever.
Or maybe they just feel like Americans would be like, I don't want that.
Who's Pantone?
Exactly.
Sounds gay.
Oh, I weep for my nation. What are we forgetting on this sucker? I'm going to look at my notes, but anything else on this thing? Oh, there's no FM radio, so...
Oh, no, that's
a non-starter.
Yeah. No millimeter wave either, but that's fine. We knew that.
That's fine. Yeah, that's okay.
What else is there? The bigger display that's higher res and brighter is kind of
so cool.
It's like if there's one thing on Moto Razrs that I didn't want to complain about ever before was the displays. They were always great.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
But, they were too dim for a while. But,
yeah, but once they got that result, I'm like, now, like, you didn't really have to go there. Like, you just didn't have to go there. But they did. And that means they really are making a flagship.
And they're taking user feedback into account. Like, not a lot of companies will walk back. We've given compliments to companies like Samsung, even Apple at points when they change their MacBook Pro keyboard. I love it when a company releases something, everyone rises up and says, that sucked, with the telephoto. And Motorola walks it back and says, okay, cool, here's a 50 megapixel ultra wide. Thank goodness.
You know what's interesting about that? It's like it's happened a few times in my career where we're like, what were you thinking? That was one of them, right? Like,
yes, it was.
We all looked at each other going,
Like, what?
What? And we try to explain to them. We're gentle, but we were like, why did you do that?
Yeah.
And they're like, well, that's what
We saw a lot of user data
lots
that
of portraits.
more
and
zoom.
then,
And
I'm like, no, you don't do it that way.
Especially with a flip phone where you are taking a lot of selfie shots with the cover display.
Exactly.
You need to be able to get further away.
Oh God! And then remember when Nothing Phone 2? Not Nothing Phone 2. Sorry. Oh my God! I'm Calpe.
Haha.
OnePlus 2.
OnePlus 2. Oh.
No NFC. Remember?
Yeah, that's right. Oh, they got roasted for that.
Oh, we killed them.
Yeah,
for that.
absolutely.
What else? I'm trying to think. Is there another thing where we were like?
I'm looking. No,
I mean another thing,
another thing
product where we were
history.
like,
yeah, Samsung.
oh my God.
They removed the micro SD card and the, what was the other thing? From the Note. And everyone roasted them. From
the
Galaxy
Bluetooth,
S5 or
the
S6.
Bluetooth remote control.
Now, they removed that, but they did that recently. This is like Galaxy S5, Galaxy S6 era. They made it monobody, metal and glass, and they were like, no more micro USB or micro SD. And there was something else. And they restored both of them after the backlash.
Yeah, I can't remember what it was. Oh, water resistant. It was gone for a bit.
Something like that. Anyway, kudos. Really love it. It's 122 degrees on the ultra wide, by the way. Now you have to.
You have the f-stops while you're looking there?
I do, but I was looking at my list. Oh, the display is Pantone validated too.
Oh yeah,
they're really working together. Pretty. Okay, yeah. What did you want to hear? The f-stops on the cameras? Yeah. And then you got to guess prices. We got to play our game show.
Yeah, we're gonna play game show. It's happening.
So the main camera is an f1.8.
Okay.
Sensor size 1 micron or 1. That's micron, right?
Yeah, 1 micron pixels. Yeah.
Pixel size. Ultra wide is a 50 megapixel at f2.0.
That's good.
Pixel size smaller, 0.6.
Ooh, that is small.
Front camera, 50 megapixel f2 with a 0.64 micron.
And the macro is done by the ultra wide, right?
Macro is done by the ultra wide, correct?
Yeah. So this is macro too. So the ultra wide has autofocus, which is cool.
This is strange.
What?
Why do I have two? There's 2 micron readings on the ultra wide and macro. It's 0.6 and 1.2.
Yeah, because pixel binning.
Oh, that's in different. Oh, okay, sorry. Yeah, this is great radio, huh? Explaining spec sheets to Michael Fisher. Next. Okay.
You're a pro.
Yeah. Well, you know, me and cameras. I'm like,
what does it say on the main? It probably says the same thing. See?
What do you mean?
It probably says 2 micron or 1 micron.
Oh, it does. Yeah, that's the binned result.
So
okay.
the thing Moto likes to say is that they give you the binned version of the microns, which is silly.
Okay. It's time to talk turkey.
Okay, so last year, $799 and $999, right?
No, I think last year they went down to $699.
$699 and $999?
I believe so.
That was impressive.
Yes, 'twas.
So, I say there's 2 ways this can go. It can go the same pricing because they're smart and they're trying, they're saying screw the tariffs. Mm-hmm. And then the Ultra would be $12.99 or $13.99. And then they could say everything goes up by $100 and it's $7.99, $10.99. And
which of those do you think is more likely? Let's start with the base.
I think the base might remain the same.
You think the base is going to stay at $6.99? You are correct. Insert a dinging bell there. Yes! Audience applause.
Because the audience is sensitive to price.
Yes.
And it's a very minor change.
And it's a great... And they're still kicking Samsung. Like, Samsung has nothing near that price point.
And supposedly, by the way, for those of you listening right now going, we're 45 minutes into this, we'll cover the news next week.
Oh, yeah.
Michael doesn't do bar phones. The OnePlus 13T, the small mini phone from China, the flagship from OnePlus, is going to wait till next week. So is the news.
You gotta put quotations on small and mini. You can't just say small and mini like
today's
it's
standards. 6.3 inch to today's standards.
That's nonsense.
I agree.
You know what's a small phone? The light phone. That's a small phone.
Well, I agree. I'm with you, but I'm talking about standards.
Just saying.
Okay. Also, there's rumors that Samsung's delaying the Fan Edition Z Flip.
I've heard that.
So they're really screwed if it's $699.
I really don't like that. Well, Motorola has a window to make up.
So now the Razr Regular Plus,
the Razr Plus
cannot be all going up in price. It's the same freaking phone.
It is the same phone, right? So it should be a little cheaper, huh?
Maybe a little cheaper. $899.
That would be awesome, but it's not.
It's not.
It's the same.
I
It's
was right.
$9.99.
Okay.
You were correct.
Ding.
Ding,
Okay,
ding,
so
ding.
now
for the Ultra.
Okay.
This is the big question.
I say $12.99, but I could be wrong.
Are you cheating? Were you looking at my phone?
No, I was not.
Are you sure? Because you got it. $12.99.
Doing this for 20 years.
3 out of 3.
Dude.
Very nicely done.
All right.
$12.99. Now that's a lot of money.
A lot of money for a fully phone. But here's the good news: carriers.
Carriers
So
also
$5.99 a month for 12, whatever it is.
And Moto gonna Moto, they're gonna discount that thing immediately. Like, what's the longest we've ever had to wait for the Razr to go on sale? 3 months, maybe 4 months. And
3 days.
Yeah, and they take hundreds of dollars off, and it stays on sale. So, like, okay, and you know what? I guarantee you that the key. I'm not telling you anything you don't know, but I guarantee you the key reason for that price increase is that top tier Qualcomm chipset that don't come cheap. Man.
Look, no, like I get it. Like if the Plus is $999, there's no way the Ultra, considering how much of a vast improvement it is in every spec, was just going to be $100 more.
Yeah,
200 is or 300, right? $999 to $300.
$999 to $12.99.
Look, it's very nice because it's like $300 apart.
Yeah. Yes.
Perfect.
Yeah, right. It's perfectly
it's
tiered.
Almost Apple levels of apartness.
Yeah. You have to admire it. I think there would probably, maybe a little bit not nervous, but I think they paid a lot of attention to the reaction of the price.
I cannot wait to give Theo my review units after I review it.
What of the Ultra?
Mm-hmm.
Why? What are you gonna? What? You could carry it. You could have fun. You could be a Razr carrier like me.
You've converted me to book styles now.
You can carry both. That's what I do.
I carry enough phones.
Yeah, I feel that. I understand. There's that prompt on like Bumble. I'm like new to dating apps, and there's that prompt on Bumble. It's like, when my phone dies, and I was like, pull out my other phone.
and again.
Yeah.
And again. Like here's the thing with me.
5.
Like a lot of people are like, so tell me about your battery life usage. And I was like, do not ask me about my battery life usage because I'm literally using 4 different phones during the day. My phones all last 4 days on a charge. Okay, all of them, except for maybe my Pixel, my main, because I do use that a little more.
When I have to switch it down to one phone, I'm like,
it's like I get
anxiety
when Theo is with me and they're running out of battery life on their Razr, and I pull out like one of my massive flagship 7-inch display bar phones, and I say reverse wireless charging, and plop, we put it down and we charge, because the Razr's battery is actually pretty small. It charges relatively fast on wireless.
It does. And you know what's crazy about that reverse wireless charging?
And they're always like, oh my God. And I'm like,
I know.
That's what I'm here for. That's why I carry extra phones. They're battery banks.
The reverse wireless charging, though, comes in handy for me twice a year. It's a very rare thing, but twice a year is more than enough to justify it.
I'm going to ask you questions so you can explain this. I don't want you to tell us. Are you on a boat at the time?
Not on the 2 examples from last year. No, I was at a brewery at one of them.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay,
but
is it work related?
Yeah. Because I'm reviewing a device and I have to run it dry to see how long the battery lasts. But then I need to wake it back up again to keep doing work on it. And often I forget my cable at home.
Oh, that's a good use case.
It's freaking awesome.
This is where I kind of feel like our laptop should have a wireless charging coil on the
absolutely
on the palm rest. Sorry, my MacBook Air is right here.
Some of them used to.
Which one?
I think Samsung built in a cheap pad onto one of their Galaxy Note 9 era laptops.
Of course you do that.
Yeah. Why isn't it there on
Actually,
everyone?
here's what I want to see. I want MagSafe on the back of my MacBook Air, and you know how they have the continuity camera?
Yeah.
Just put it right there, clunk, and not only does it clunk and you can use your camera,
And it charges.
but it charges.
It's good.
Apple.
Patent it.
Like, come on. Do I have to tell you to do everything?
Why don't we, let's market that. Let's make that. Let's build that. That sounds like fun. It's even a thing that kind of clicks when you put it on there. We could.
Well, you know what you can do right now. It's really easy.
What?
You can buy, you can get a phone with built-in MagSafe.
Yeah.
Or the one that doesn't like this, and put like one of those
ugly
the
rings.
the rings,
Yeah.
and then you put like the reverse ring on that because they have that too.
Yeah, but that'll just stick it. You got to charge it. Like you got to build charging.
Just double-sided tape a MagSafe charger.
Oh, you brought up a good question about the Razr for me. I want to know if the magnets are in the same place. The magnets that hold the flip closed, because if they are and they're the same, the Razr 2024 sticks to MagSafe power
kind of
things. It's not full, but it's hard enough to keep it on there. And if that continues, we have another little fun fact.
You know what didn't come up? I didn't hear anyone ask. Actually, we didn't have a Q&A, which was really annoying.
We didn't have a Q&A. That was annoying.
Moto.
Qi 2.
Qi 2, nobody asked about
Nobody
Qi
asked
2.
about
That
Qi
comes
2.
up. Okay, guys.
Failure on my part.
So this is a bit of inside baseball, okay? Because like we've been doing this for a long time. But I always ask the tough questions usually at Q&As. Probably why they don't have them anymore. But remember the OnePlus Open, the wireless charging?
Absolutely.
I was so mad.
I mean, well, we all were. I mean, like...
I was so mad. But because to me, wireless charging is table stakes. It needs to be there.
Little bit of a pixel selfie for the viewers at home. It's video. Thank you.
Oh, wow, you're recording video. Nice.
I am indeed.
Oh, hi, everyone.
It's
I thought you were just
podcasting.
Podcasting.
Because you were saying inside baseball, and that's what my video from this event is going to be about.
Take a photo as well. That way I can have that as my title shot.
Oh, yeah, good idea.
Yeah, good idea.
This is also good radio, don't you?
So, anyway, the inside baseball I was going to tell you about is that Qi 2 comes up almost every time.
Yeah.
In the briefings we have. We complain, we kick, we scream.
Yep.
There is tables being tossed around,
overturned,
chairs being thrown,
how dare you
drinks being
deprive
spilled, eggs being shelled. It is quite the mess. No, I'm joking, but look, right. we there are some things we're pretty tenacious about. OIS, wireless charging, although a lot of that is not. But now it's Qi. Now it's Qi 2 magnets.
Can I ask you? I have an answer for this, and then can I ask you the same question? I know what I want if this generation of Razr is successful.
What do you want?
I want the Razr family as a whole to make Motorola enough profit that they become willing once again to experiment with maybe a Razr Legacy Edition. I want them to bring back the 2020 Razr 5G with modern specs and like a lot of the improvements we've seen.
You want the chin.
I want the chin back. And I think we say this every year.
Okay, well, you have it. It's called clicks.
True. Yes. Thank you for the plug.
You're welcome.
Yes.
Does, by the way, the clicks, a little marketing here. Since we're talking Razr, this is on topic. Does the new clicks for Razr, have you tried?
We have a clicks for the Razr 2025 specifically.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
we will support the Razr 2024, Razr Plus 2024, and Razr 24, and at least the Ultra.
The Ultra.
I have to check the other two.
Well, the Plus has gotta work.
The dimensions are basically unchanged, so right. I'm sure they'll. I just have only been focusing on the Ultra.
With the existing model and the upcoming updated Razr Clicks case, does it have MagSafe?
So, fun fact about the way Motorola treats the USB port.
That's right. You can't do wireless charging if
anything is plugged into the USB port, wireless charging doesn't work. It's disabled.
Maybe it's working now.
We would absolutely. I would love to be able to say that. I can't confirm if that's true. And if it is at all possible, because Motorola has actually been a pretty cool partner to work with on this. I've been pretty far removed from most of it.
Yeah.
If at all possible, we'll make that happen. However, we got a lot of user feedback on our announcement that said, I don't use wireless charging, but I use like a MagSafe wallet. I use a MagSafe accessory. Could you put the ring in there? And I believe we have committed to do that. Based on user feedback exclusively.
You should put the ring on everything.
I agree. Well, now I'm 100% on board with that. And adding it to the Pixel version of Clicks was great because now it's kind of like having Qi 2, you know? So thanks to everyone who weighed in on that because it was an easy sell once I was like, guys, can we actually do this? And they were like, yeah. Just like with the Pixel.
Cool.
That wasn't my idea, to be clear, the Pixel idea.
Well, I mean, it's like I try to get all my cases now for all my long-termer phones, like this Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra that's recording right now. I try to get MagSafe cases. This is not one of them. It was very cheap, but very nice case, very thin. I like that. But I did get one of those rings, and I didn't install it yet. But what's the company that makes pop sockets? Pop sockets makes a really slim, really nice ring. You can get it in different colors. So you can buy a case that doesn't have MagSafe, and it comes with a template. So you can actually say, I have a Galaxy, properly. And it positions it right.
Yeah.
So that's actually cool. My biggest problem I have with the Pixel 9 Pro Fold that you're using right now is that the wireless charging cord is not centered in the back.
It's off-center.
And none of my vertical stand wireless chargers work.
Yeah, you got to like put it like
So
off.
I actually I didn't buy it because of the unit, but I got the case in the official Google case, and I put one of those pop socket rings on it.
Yeah.
I manually I used the magnetic sheet thing to figure out where it was.
Oh yeah.
And I measured it, and I just
nice.
clunk, and it's perfect now.
Do you think that Google will fix that on the Pixel Fold 10?
So the way I fixed it, for the little while that I was using that on my main phone, I instead of having a stand wireless charger next to my bed, I just put like a MagSafe ring. Clunk.
Fun fact, I have a 12 South high-rise. I don't think they make it anymore, but it's one of those that like has a wireless charging pad hoisted up on a pedestal, but you can also pop it out and lay it flat if you want.
Ooh, nice.
But I just leave it on the pedestal, and I drape the Pixel onto the pad, and it rests on the camera house.
It's just the right height.
It's just the right height.
So I've noticed if you have this problem, folks, on your Pixel 9 Pro Fold, and you have a regular charger like a Pixel stand, an old one, or like a Moto stand, or like a OnePlus wireless charger, all you have to do is 3D print a little wedge about a half an inch tall, and it'll work.
A little shelf. Like the height of a golf pencil's width.
This is what everybody needs, a 3D printer.
Yeah, I should have one.
If you have space. For me, the biggest problem is that both my spaces, Vancouver and San Francisco, are so small that where the hell do I put the freaking 3D printer?
It's become one of my favorite little subgenres of YouTube, is like the maker space, where it's like, I wanted to make this little BlackBerry, and so I made it. It's awesome.
That's how you take a Clix case apart and make your own Clix case.
Yeah. The brass one.
You guys should actually think of that. Here's a free idea. Talk to Kevin about it. Make open source dimensions available for your Clix so that people can modify them.
It's been discussed.
All right.
We got a lot to do between here and there.
Or even better, make a kit that makes you DIY your own Clix keyboard. You provide the inner shell, the electronics, the keyboard part.
Yeah.
And then they can print their own case.
Be like the Radio Shack, like build your own breadboard.
From the Come on, the Clix audience would be into that. Some of it.
Some of them. Enough of them? I don't know.
You don't know.
Don't know. We'll see.
All right. Anything else we want to talk about the Razrs before we wrap?
I think a good indicator for my enthusiasm about a phone is whether I'm planning to buy it. And I mean buy it. And I think when the minute that wood one was revealed to be real wood, and the spec sheet was like, this is a real phone.
I want the wood too.
I'm getting that wood Razr Ultra, and I think I'll have to buy it. So maybe I should ask for a different color in my review unit so that I have multiple colors.
I mean,
'cause I'm going to break one of them. It's just what I do.
I was just going to say that. Look, I agree. I think I want the wood as my review unit, although I'm not as gung-ho as you it's kind of funny right now because I'm keep oscillating between a normal Pixel and the foldy phone of du jour with the book style. So I went from the open to this guy, and then I went to the N5, the fine N5, which I have right now in my bag. And I am really loving the thin form factor, even though the cameras are a little compromised. Yeah. But yeah, we could have an entire show about how it's sad that OnePlus is not making a foldy phone.
One more tip of the hat to Motorola, though, for making software, a version of Android 15 that I want to use. Because you've reminded me that both the Oppo, the OnePlus, the Samsung stuff, like everything but the Pixel, I'm like, all of Android is just moving toward this
iPhoneification,
iOS Lite, and I'm like, I hate this. I don't like using it. It's annoying. If I wanted an iPhone, say it with me, I'd buy a frickin' iPhone.
I mean, I've bought an iPhone.
So have I. I actually have a lot of iPhones.
I do
but
my
you know what I'm
videos on
saying.
Yeah, no, but I agree with you.
Motorola's implementation is not perfect. It's not aesthetically a nothing phone. That's, for me, the height of software design that speaks to me
good.
is Nothing OS.
It's very
3.1. But Motorola is a close second, and I think probably 80% of that is the fact that when I reach for the Razr, it knows I'm reaching for it. It's that IR sensor, and it wakes up before I get to it.
Yeah.
It's so simple.
It's a
so
lot of
cool.
that ambient stuff. They really have a lot of that in the Razr, which I really love.
Yeah, I can't wait to use that look and talk.
Look and talk.
They should probably rebrand that. But hey,
Speak and spell.
it's not. Yeah, it's not ready for. So we're improving.
Yeah.
Anyway, great times. Hope we get invited back after roasting the keynote.
Oh, I think they know. They probably had to. Michael, tell folks where they can find you on the internet. It's like
Captain 2 Phones.
All the things.
Captain the number 2 phones on all the platforms, and also clicks.tech if you want to buy one of those Razr Clicks boards.
And Mr. Mobile,
Mr. Mobile on YouTube.
On YouTube.
THEMRMOBILE. That's where the YouTube videos go. Thank you for reminding me of that. I'm so tired.
Great YouTube videos.
Thanks.
I mean, come on. If you don't know who Mr. Mobile is by now, screw you.
Yeah, don't go to the channel.
So bad. All right, folks.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. You know where to find me, folks. I'm at Tankgirl, like the comic book character. Just drop the vowels, TNKGRL, on all the social platforms. I'm mostly active on Blue Sky, Instagram, and Threads, so find me there. Also, there's a podcast. You're listening to it. So mobiletechpodcast.com is the URL. We're on all the major platforms, so please subscribe and tell your friends. Spotify, YouTube Music, Apple Podcasts, all the good stuff. There's a YouTube channel, youtube.com/mobiletechpodcast. There's some videos there occasionally. You know how YouTube works. Like, subscribe, tell your friends, click the bell, comment, all that good stuff. And then if you want to support me, there's a Patreon, patreon.com/tanker, like my handle, TNKGRL. And what I do there is put a video of the podcast up every week in advance, usually like 12 hours, 24 hours in advance. And it's with video and with sometimes bloopers and sometimes extra content. And it's $5 a month for every show that comes out every week. So if you can support me, consider doing that.
I recommend it.
Yes. I have a happy customer.
I'm not just a guest. I'm also a subscriber.
That's right. So yeah, consider helping me out with a Patreon. I appreciate it. Patreon.com/TNKGRL. And I want to thank our sponsor, Mint Mobile. You know I review a lot of phones, so I'm constantly juggling multiple devices. While that's fun, it also means I'm spending a lot of money for wireless service on multiple SIMs. Thankfully, there's Mint Mobile, and that's who I'm teaming up with for today's podcast. If you want to save money on your wireless service, switch to Mint Mobile. You've probably seen the Mint Mobile ads featuring Ryan Reynolds, but let me quickly tell you how fantastic their service is, especially for tech-savvy early adopters like us. Mint Mobile offers premium wireless for as low as $15 a month, and you don't have to sacrifice any coverage, speed, or data. They're built on the nation's largest 5G network. They keep costs low because they sell direct to you online. They cut out the retail stores and salespeople. Why should you pay more than you have to for access to the same network? In my experience testing phones, Mint Mobile delivers the same data speeds and call quality as the big three for a fraction of the cost. Switching to Mint is super easy. Thanks to their eSIMs, you can sign up and activate immediately right on your phone from the comfort of your home. No more standing around waiting in line at a big wireless store. You can keep your current devices and phone number and easily switch services. And if your phone isn't eSIM compatible, Mint will ship you a new SIM card free of charge. The whole process only takes 15 minutes, and if you get stuck, Mint has a great customer service team to get you through it. All Mint Mobile plans include unlimited nationwide talk and text, plus lightning-fast 5G and free mobile hotspot. Mint will show you how much data you use each month and recommend plans that save you money. Mint also offers a modern family plan that lets you set up a super affordable family plan with as little as 2 lines. Use my link, mintmobile.com/mobiletech, to get premium wireless starting at $15 a month. Stop paying more than you need on your wireless bill and start saving big with Mint Mobile. And Michael, thanks for joining me on a mad, mad day to do a mad, mad show in my hotel room.
Been a lot of fun, Miriam. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Hello, Moto.
Hello, Moto. We'll have you on back again at some point soon. Folks, stay tuned for next week. We'll have another show. Until then, cheers, everybody.
This has been the Mobile Tech Podcast with Tank Girl, proudly presented by worldpodcasts.com. You can visit us online at mobiletechpodcast.com.